What's happening, everyone? Are you ready to get hexy? It's about to get hexy in here. It's about to get hexy. We're going to make it real hexy today. I like the hex token. It's a good token. 5 years running strong. You know, the community has its ups and downs, but the hex token does not lie. It does not fail you. 100% uptime. It is, you can't control when you buy and when you sell, but boy, it can do its job. It's pretty, I'm being told it does its job well. That's what I'm being told. Pretty good. Everyone, buckle up. Got a lot of stuff to go through. A lot of stuff to go through. It's going to be good. If you are not familiar with the HEX token, hex.com, pretty good site, got a ton of stuff, a lot of good information. How does it work? Is it a scam? All that stuff. And you'll notice on the front page, and TBD if this ever changes, it advertises the high yield of hex mining, hex staking mining. Either one means the same thing in this context. So we've seen large actors in the community stake a lot, ladder out, if I remember correctly, and that has reduced yield quite a bit. So look at the payout here, hex charts. You can see now that the hex, so you got hex on PulseChain, hex on Ethereum, 93.95% staked on PulseChain, 92.98% staked on Ethereum. And there's a ton of great stat sites. I just like the payout showing on this one too. You can see that the payout used to be, we're getting 8, 7, 8, 9 hex payout per T-share. Now it's down to about 1.5. So if you go to hexcalc.net, and this can calculate, we'll do for PX here, if you do just like 1 million hex, and if you calculate it for 365 days, you can see that this number, you could imagine, used to be much larger than this. Right now, for a 1-year stake, it's showing APY of 1.6%. So quite a bit different than 38%. Again, that number could be, just historically speaking, could be from pre-big payday, which was when, all that. I'm not going to go into details, all these different stuff, but the percentages in HEX were making a lot. Used to be much bigger, and then inflation's went down. People speculate that's because it's price go up season, and we certainly hope so, because price not go up for, as the 10,000X, it's been a minute since 10,000X. I'd like to have another one. We certainly would. So when you see that, you always need to double check and see, was that based on, previously, historically speaking, some other calculation. And that's a decision people are often facing today when they're using HEX, whether they're holding it or they're trying to stake it or otherwise. They're trying to decide, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to stake it? Do you want to mine more HEX? Or do you want to hold on to it? Give yourself options. Do you want to do something in between? Do you want to hold part so much percentage, half liquid, half stake half of it, whatever? Do you want to ladder out so many years? You don't have, you can make as many stakes as you want, right? You can ladder out 1 year to 15 years. You can, make bigger ones. You can split it up. All these different options. If you want to see different options, just go to YouTube, type in the price and content of my channel as well, but just type in HEX staking ladder. Sure, HEXFire and Coffee and everyone else. Tons and tons of different videos. Hexologist, all stuff too, DCC, tons of different information about how to ladder and different strategies and stuff like that. However, so that is 365 for 1 million hex. You can do price predictions. It's always fun too. What if we do a 10x? You can see the hex that you get today, you spend 5K on, for example, could turn into 50,000 because that's 10x. There you go. So pretty fun to see that, the different bonuses, longer pays better, bigger pays better, all those pieces. Again, there's a ton of I could go into a different vertical and talk about all these different things in detail. I could bring people on and talk about all these things as well, and history and all this stuff. But I want to kind of frame the decision around today. What does it mean, around staking? What does it mean to what give you the data to decide on your own for you what you'd like to do? What's important to you? What kind of flexibility do you like? There's different products and stuff that give you the HSIs, again, from Hedron, that give you portable hex stakes and all that stuff too, which can factor in. But anyways, back to the example. So 1 million hex, 365 days. I'll just reset it to not do a price prediction. Current rate looks like it's around 2 zeros and a 5. If we do add a 0 to this, 365 days, around 10 years, you can see the APY goes from 1.6% to 4.74% APY. And if you change this to magic number 5555, you can see 5.24%. So you could say the max APR you could get going out a long period of time is probably 4-5% range, for most people, and generally speaking. Probably still beats a lot of traditional products, but again, it's a very long time horizon. Especially if you could just compare it with the 1 year, you're getting about 1.5% or 2 through there. That could change, but hey, maybe it's stabilized. Who knows? There's different theories on that, but that's one piece to it. So the decision now is, if you're not getting 38% APY, generally speaking, if you're not able to get that, depending on the size of hex and the number of stakers and the way the network currently sits and the number of days you want to go out and all those pieces, what do you do? Do you stake or you not stake? That is the question. Get some iced coffee here real quick. Be right back. Appreciate your chat, by the way. Won't talk much today. Well, we'll get to you in a little bit. I think I got a little bit of time, but appreciate y'all showing up. Talking about the HEX token, greatest token on earth. I like it a lot. Some people even say there's 2 of them. So nice. We get to say it twice, prefixing it, or not, with a P or an E, depending on your flavor and where you want to vote and all that stuff. So, hex.com. Should you stake or not stake? There's a lot of really cool stuff about Hex. I want to preface this a little bit. A lot of underrated things. People get really focused in on the price, which understandably so. It is thing that make money or doesn't in the direct sense. However, some of the underrated things I think about Hex too that we don't talk about are, you don't need, it's not like a Bitcoin miner. You don't need GPUs. You don't need all this stuff. You literally talk to the contract. You burn the coins. There's no DAO holding all these hex tokens. You burn the coins, and then when you end your stake, you mint them back. It's pretty cool. It is kind of, when you think about it, it's kind of, a lot of stuff does that today, but back then I think it was really cool tech. Back then that was much more appreciated than it is today. Everyone's like, oh, well, what if the price goes down? Again, so much fixation on price, we lose track of the really cool tech behind this stuff. You can stake 1 day, 15 years, all that stuff. You have different bonuses depending on how long you stake, how big you stake. And yeah, again, you don't have to buy physical hardware and electricity and do all that stuff. You're talking to the smart contract. You're pressing the buttons. You're telling it what to do. So you can stake, you can emergency end stake. There's different rules around that. You lose a different penalty and based on all the days and stuff set up like that. There's a Hex white paper, should mention as well, or the closest thing to it, I would say. I got to gorealdefi.com. If you click on stats, that'll take you to a bunch of different cool resources at bento.me/pulsehexinfo. If you click on Hex white paper, the closest thing to it. I also posted one of these that kind of tried to modernize with AI for 2025 that talks about PulseChain as well, but it's got all the different masks, all different big payday stuff all the different pieces in there now. Talk about technical stuff and AA and all the history and stuff there too. So I'll drop that in the chat, but that is a pretty amazing piece of literature to understand the HEX token. And of course, you can look at the contract, click on Explorer, type in HEX, see this one, and you can see the different stats and the supply and the holders and the contract and read and write and call functions and all that amazing stuff too. So the HEX token. I got that meme that's like the HEX token. It's the guy, the aliens guy. So aliens. Anyone remembers that from what was that show? Ancient Aliens or something. So anyways, back to the payout per T-share. The HEX is, there's a million different things we could talk about. So I'll jump back and forth between a few different things, but I want to give everyone kind of an overview, some of the things they may be missing, some of the context for making these decisions and stuff too. But payout used to be 8, drop down, has a big stake in the ecosystem. Now it's around, 1.5. So every T-share, what does this mean? Daily payout per T-share, literally. Per however many T-shares you have, you pay that much HEX when the clock ticks over for that day. You got 100 T-shares, you exit by that. You get 1 T-share, there you go. And it's distributed in a pool. There's like a pool of stakers and the different APRs and APY and all that stuff goes up and down based on that. There's a bunch of different complexities. There's like effective APY, and there's 3.69% inflation, which again, there's a whole bunch of nuances. I want to get in all the math pieces too. But essentially, there's mercy and staking where half the penalties go to this origin address, no expectations address, this well in the ecosystem. Some say it could be found or all this stuff too. Half the penalties go to the staker pool, and it adds to daily payout. Again, I don't want to deep dive in all this stuff, but just some basic terminology and stuff there too. And I'll put the charts here as well. So you can literally study HEX as like a research project to figure all this stuff out. There's T-share rate always going up and to the right. You never get more T-shares before, what is it like? What's the best way of saying it? You can never get more T-shares in the future than you can now. So there's different gaming of the systems and stuff like that. When you stake with this, I guess the same size and all that stuff, it'll always be, I guess, a little bit different. And that's why you see the rate going up over time as well. There's pools of T-shares. Again, there's literally HEX scientists that study all this stuff. I'm going to gloss over, or I'll try to be as accurate as possible with also keeping things in a basic sense. Shout out to all the HEX scientists out there. There's quite a few. HEX analytics and stuff as well. I think one may be in the chat. You got the Dip Catcher, you got HEXFire, you got Crispy Man, you got Ben Sierra. A ton of different people. That's just people study HEX hardcore and have over time and know a bunch of this stuff better than me. Current stakers, so pretty cool stuff here where people have still been staking. I mean, we've seen some, it's kind of leveled out a little bit and then a little bit down, but honestly, you still see people making big stakes, and they're going for longer too. That's what one thing I wanted to say on this too. By the way, just looking at the beginning. Oops. How can I look at the very beginning? I think there was, in the beginning, 2020, 2021, there was there not that many stakers, and now there's way more. Sorry, I don't have the stats right in front of me, but HEX has grown a ton over the last 5 years, battle tested, and just a really good system. So also when PulseChain launched, they got a copy over PulseChain network. Not going to go through market decided tweet and all that stuff too. There's a lot of HEX history there, but there's HEX on 2 chains now. Some people believe there should only be on PulseChain. Some people believe HEX is better off on Ethereum. Some people want to live with both. I think a lot of it depends on if you were around and had your stakes copied over and you have a vested financial interest in both HEXs doing well. We'll see what happens in the future, whether more people migrate to PulseChain only, or whether Ethereum thrives and stuff too. There's a ton of different plays and stuff on that you can think about and decide what you want to do. So it's definitely a topic of conversation in the community from time to time. And yeah, big piece behind this. So this was, yeah, and we hope price go back up. So this is the PHEX price. And yeah, like I said, HEX went from like nothing to doing just around a 10,000x. And then PX, though, has a totally different chart. Launched on a new network. Did I do the calculation of the day? If PX did 10,000x from the all-time high or all-time low, it would be $37. Did I talk about that on stream the other day? Like the other day. So if we get $37 HEX, I, for one, will be extremely happy. And I don't know about you all, but $37, $2 HEX sounds pretty good. $37. That is, don't ever say anything's impossible, but boy, that'd be something. All right, so there's a few different pieces I want to talk about. Chart of future market supply is pretty cool too. So you can see expiring stakes when they're staking. That was definitely a big conversation in the early days, which was, I mean, it's still relevant now to see when big HEX stakes are coming out. You can plan them ahead of time. You can say, oh, I don't want mine to come out on a day where a bunch of others are coming out because there could be sell pressure that day. And, you know, if you want to get a better price and not be caught up in a dip and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Again, a lot of people forget all this cool stuff. Like there's a whole, like this could be literally a course. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of courses, but this could be like a studied example in academia for like a crypto system. And maybe it will be one day. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, let me get to, yeah, so I talked about, and I want to funnel all this stuff towards making, towards data for making a decision whether you're going to stake or not. I think one key piece of this, one of the key examples for staking or not staking too, is do you believe, I guess how much, I don't know, it almost seems like short-term versus long-term in a way too. I mean, yeah, you could say it's obvious in that respect, but I kind of want to dig into that a little bit because, you know, long-term in the sense of, you know, I don't know, how would you define long-term? So in crypto, long-term seems to be more than 2 years, I guess, more than 6 months. I don't know. There's like a spectrum on this too. But if you can stake for 5, 10, 15 years through multiple market cycles, and if you have it locked up the entire time, you know, you don't have access to liquidity for it unless you've done like HSI, and there is a system that'll pay you. You know, you can trade it for ICOSA, or you can sell it in an open market or secondary market, stuff like that too. So I think what's came down is the consensus so far from what I've, you know, kind of what I've synthesized over hearing a lot of different arguments is, you know, there's a ton of people who wish they would have held more HEX liquid and not staked for so long, or not staked so much of the stack. I think ladders became much more of a reasonable approach to it, so that you have some liquidity, you know, throughout the months and years and stuff, where if there is a cycle, you believe there is a cycle topic and you're trying to time stuff. So there's all this, you know, inaccuracy, or, you know, there's other complications there too. And yeah, you could sell too early, you could sell too late, all that stuff. But having it liquid gives you the ability to, you know, have, you know, liquidity, be able to sell at a price that you want without having to either lose part of your principal by merging and staking, or part of your rewards, or sacrifice the rewards that happened over a period of time. And just be able to, come up with some kind of thing around that, some kind of like balanced approach. Now, on one side, you could think about, you know, that, so that you have the people who, you know, wish they wouldn't have staked so long, or wish they wouldn't have staked as much, because they wanted to, you know, hit that, you know, HEX 50, 55 cent top, or 40 cent or whatever piece that was like a way of price appreciation from when they bought it. And then you have, they have the T-share collectors perspective too. It's like, no, I believe in the future, long term, it's going to go really well. And I want to keep collecting the yield, even though the yield has dropped a lot now. I want to keep, I keep my T-shares, all that stuff intact. So, yeah, I think the more balanced approach is what people really tend to go towards, instead of, for example, one extreme is 5-5-5-5 staking all the HEX you have, right? If you think about a spectrum, completely liquid to everything 5-5-5-5. What are the pros and cons? Completely liquid, you're paying the price for being liquid. There's inflation. You're not, if there are big emergency and stakes and stuff like that, you're not getting paid the penalties. There's different incentivization structures that you're missing out on, different products and stuff that either require staking or like reward stakers in a way, and like different, or give stakers options, stuff like that. But you have it all liquid, and also you're also left to your own devices as far as, hey, can I hold? If it is liquid and I have a choice to hit the button any moment, the truth engine, say in HEX terms, like if you're not participating in the truth engine, which is staking and making sure that you do what you're going to do, otherwise you pay a penalty, then are you actually going to hang on to it, or are you going to sell too early? Now, looking at this a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, or when HEX first came out, it all felt like, oh, that's the right approach. Like, I definitely want to save myself from myself. I don't want to sell too early. I want to earn the inflation. I want to, and you feel like more, I don't know, do you feel more part of the community when you stake too? Chat, let me know on that. Or if you watch this in the comments. It gives you that aligned interest over time. And yeah, if you're just liquid, again, it's kind of like you can leave anytime, or you're going to stick around, help promote your bags and stuff, because you have a financial vested interest in the product going up. So a whole bunch of different pros and cons with like the one extreme. And then you have the other extreme, which is if you have it all staked out for 15 years, you don't, again, you're getting the max everything, right? You're getting max bonuses, you're getting the T-shares, you're getting you're delaying gratification for 15 years with all the HEX you have. And you're kind of saying, hey, I'm going to be, you're going to have that interest in the community. You're going to have that skin in the game. And, but also you're not going to have liquidity unless you do it, and unless you participate in a protocol that like wraps the stakes, makes HSIs, makes them portable. So you can either transfer them or participate in secondary markets, or mint other coins that you get other value from them in some way. I don't know who's going to win in the end. I mean, I believe that both extremes, I don't know. I could make a good case that both extremes are very risky, right? And I think that a lot of people come to that conclusion as well. And I don't think everyone 5-5-5-5s their entire HEX. I think it's probably true that most people who are staking in the community have at least one 5-5-5-5, because it's kind of like that, that moon bag, that delayed bag, that, hey, I at least have this much faith that I want to benefit in the future, because this thing hopefully does well. And I mean, there's people who can set up retirement plans around it, I guess. I think that made more, you could speculate. Again, there are a lot of different directions here, but one of the reasons that a lot of one of the big whales, OA, for example, staked a ton of HEX, people speculate is that, maybe they didn't want people living off the interest over time. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea, or maybe it was a better idea before, but now we need people to, instead of just stake and, stakes come up, you make the HEX, you sell it, you live off of it. And again, it's nothing against people selling HEX. Like, again, this is fair. Your coins, your choice. Of course, I like people holding and buying and stuff like that. I know what's good for the price, but go make your dreams come true. Like you put in the work, you did it. I think code is law in a lot of ways, and that I'm pretty much pro on that. I'm more pro on that side. But I think a lot of people who take that, who can't, get liquidity from it over that period of time, then it becomes, okay, you're more, I don't know. I think there's maybe two different approaches too. There's this, hey, I'm going to stake it and forget about it. I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to go do stuff. I don't need money right now. And I'm going to come back in 5, 10, 15 years. And hopefully it's going to be worth a lot more. And hopefully there's going to be a ton of liquidity. And hopefully there's going to be ways I can sell without hurting the price chart and all those things. So you're kind of like, almost like a nest egg or hey, I don't need this, right? This is something this is expendable. This is just extra money. I don't need it type of thing. And you put it away for a long time. And you come back and you hope it does well. In the meantime, you may or may not interact with the community. But then there's also the other group that's probably looking at it more as, okay, I'm going to stake this for a period of time. I'm going to try to time the bull market. And I want it to be worth a lot when it comes out. And the inflation could be great and all that stuff too. But now the inflation has been cut. So it's kind of like, the question is fairly asked, right? Why would I stake it? If I'm not making any more HEX, what is the point in staking? If I'm only making, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% per year, what is the point, right? And it's, again, fair question. So I think it depends on which piece you want to get into. So let me flip the chart over to HEX daily stats. They got some great charts and historical data and stuff here as well. And we'll go to the average mining length, which to me, this has changed quite a bit. Like I always remembered it as being 7, maybe because it's been 6 or 7 for a long time. But I had no idea it was up to 9. We're at 9 years average mining length. I've seen quite a bit 5, 5, 5, 5 lately. So what does that tell you too? If you're doing 15-year stakes, if we're seeing more 15-year stakes, I would say that when people is probably, if I were to guess, and again, there's probably some data here to show it too. I wouldn't be surprised if more people or less people overall are staking, but the ones who do are staking for longer because they're the believers. They're the ones who have again, they're not going to like wait for this money to come out and need it right now. They're able to put it longer. They believe in the long-term success of the ecosystem. They're going to, just put it out there longer term. Again, they could be making a portable stake too. So giving us little options for that as well. But again, those options come with, hey, am I going to sell it or not? Like, can I stop myself? If the price goes way up, if HEX goes to $2 this bull run, and you sell all your HEX at $2, then, what if it goes to $10? What if it goes to $20? Like, once you sell it too, do you give yourself an out of the ecosystem? And do you want to do that? Some people are totally fine, but like those are things like each of these big decisions has, different paths that they could take, those being available depending on how you set it up and stuff. So 9 years. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So just, let me just a second. Let me take another drink here. A little bit more coffee. All right. So another pretty bullish thing that I think is as well in the ecosystem is, why would any whale who exerts control over the ecosystem, he is decentralized network, price is centralized on all different coins, hexes, look at all the different big whales in the system who, you can't change the code, the inflation rate's locked, all that stuff. But you can affect things by having a big enough supply and staking it for a period of time and all that stuff too. So why would any entity, especially one that you could speculate would have bigger plans to do things we should have no expectations over, but you could totally speculate on, who could deploy capital, who could kick off marketing or support marketing campaigns, who would love to see this ecosystem rise to the top from the bottom. You could speculate based on that and the ink knobs on the PulseX farms getting turned way down, cutting inflation a lot there, that the monetary policy changes could be preparing for price go up. Because if price don't go up and inflation stays low for ink, for HEX, for all this stuff, it's kind of a head scratcher, right? Like what for? How, can we, I guess, I don't know. I haven't tried to make a case for that happening. And I guess it's kind of hard to make a case for price not going up in general. Even though, yeah, of course, I'm biased. Of course, I think it's going to, because all these different reasons. But I don't know. There's just some things that just make sense. And yeah, do I kind of lean towards the optimistic side? Definitely. But I'm trying to imagine a future where price doesn't go up. It kind of stays the way it is. We get pumps here and there. And inflation is still low. Because it's like you kind of, the wheels need to keep turning, right? Like something needs to drive the train forward. If you're not offering yield, then you got to be offering high price. Chat, what do you think? What do you think? Like if you're not, what other option is there to keep the wheel? I guess the third option is you don't, and the wheels fall off. But then again, we know that's totally against, what the founder and glory. That's against the whole, like we haven't even seen the meteoric rise that we want to see PulseChain do. And HEX being, the premier asset on the PulseChain and the biggest community and all that stuff too. I don't know. It's very hard to make a case that it's just this thing just withers, and there's still this very small community that hangs on and still staking 5555 every day. But I don't know. It doesn't sound right. I see one comment. Bitcoin gives no yield. Bitcoin's price goes up. So I think that, I'm not sure if you were talking in that context, but yeah, it doesn't do yield natively, but its price seems to go up. It does have inflation, paid to miners, all that stuff too. So Bitcoin is doing pretty well. Price is going up. So HEX's yield, pretty awesome for the last few years until recently. Price not been awesome for the last couple of years or so. So is it price time? Now that yield has been, have we just switched, right? Have we traded yield for price up? So maybe so. I certainly hope so. Trying to think, and there's a ton of different I mean, all these stats too, like I really would like to see them. Like, what do we see when the price goes up? Will we see the staker stat? It's actually an interesting question too. Will we see the staker stats go up when the price goes up? Does that just give everyone the trust, the confidence that they just need to see the price go up before they feel comfortable staking? Does the price going down make them feel like the product is not going to be around? I guess if you treat it like every other product. Pretty interesting here too. 117 to 135. HEX on Ethereum. Don't sleep on that one either. I mean, I personally like HEX on PulseChain. It has all these different advantages. The founder gives it a nod, like that there's certain appeal to authority that just make kind of I'm like, okay, if I'm not, it's not even like doing what Richard says. It's like that is the signal of confidence from a very powerful part of the ecosystem. So it's not even like a subordinate type of thing. It's more of like that's a plus. Like the founder gave, any other network the nod. I don't know. I hate to bet against. I would hate to bet against any founder of the direction they want to go. Like bet against Vitalik. If you like, oh, Vitalik wanted Ethereum go in a certain direction, and people are like, no, I don't know. Vitalik's pretty smart, so I kind of feel the same way about Richard. All right, let me talk to chat because like I've touched on a lot of different things. Are there any things that you're thinking of? I kind of make this a little interactive too, if y'all want to, and I'll probably go through some comments. There's maybe a few things here too. What do you think about when you stake? Like, what is it that makes you stake or doesn't make you stake? And be right back as well. All right, we are back. What's up, Dominic? Welcome. Pulse Abdul is here for let's call you Pulse Abdul. Here for the chat. It's when I read Pulse chooses to with Fast Abdul, I think of Pulse Abdul. Here for the tech indeed. Darth Hex, how's it going? How's it going? Diversify, got 3 flames going up. Who knows, by the way? Who knows if we'll have a Hex week? Hex week where we have 5 different days of banger Hex streams. Who knows if that's going to happen this summer? You may have heard it here. You may have no expectations as well, but never know. PulseX conference first, and then we'll see. Pineapple 888, yes, PX. We talk about PX, we talk about EX, we talk about all the Hex. We talk about Hex in general, basically. I don't even like to divide it. I feel like EHEX and PX are the coins, and Hex is a system. That's kind of the way I think about it. So when I think about Hex, I don't think about PX and EHEX. I think about, unless I'm going to buy one or stake one, then I think about, oh, what are the pros and cons of doing that? Spirits of Crypto, how's it going? Good afternoon. Can't get to all these. Mr. Max 00000, how's it going? Cryptomance, welcome. Putting out great material. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Should have said OG Hex users got over 38%. I mean, how would you phrase this? Should we ask AI? How would you phrase this? Hex miners averaged. Start using a bunch of past tense stuff. That's kind of what Dipcatcher like. Hex miners averaged 38% return to year. I don't know. I feel like if I see that and then I go to stake Hex and I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, I'd be like, can I wear my 38%? So who knows if website's going to change? It could. You know what? Would this be a crazy prediction? Would this be a, not prediction? I try not to make predictions. I don't like to be wrong about stuff either. But like, Would it be shocking? PulseChain.com got an upgrade. Would it be shocking if HEX.com got an upgrade? And like basically like all this went away. It looks totally different, or it looks mostly the same, but the first text isn't. There isn't this text. It's like, maybe I should ask X what it should be. But yeah, it's like there's no more 38%. It's like it talks about price. Like maybe that's what happens if we do in the next 6 months. We do like a 10, 20, 100x. Hex.com changes to say Hex did a, what Richard used to do in the good old days. He used to say, or used to put like, Hex on every stream, the little ticker would be Hex did a, 43x in 19 days, stuff like that. But that's not really, that could change a lot too. I don't know. Let me ask. Tell me. I'll put it in the chat. Bear with me just a moment. I'm doing stuff. Doing stuff related to screenshot and ready to link you to a post. Here we go. Let's go and Acid Thunder. Hex is the GOAT. I think it is too. I think it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Chris in FPV. Show me the money. Richard tweet pissed on bears. Recently? Let's check on Dr. Hart here real quick. It's just another workout headline. Oh, you're talking about this one? I know, I read it earlier and I'm just thinking, okay. Yeah. What's your best conspiracy theory on this one? It's a message to the bears. You'll see my diamond hands one on this. Bro had to use a de-diamondify filter just to show he's human. There we go. Shout out to AI. You good with images? Pretty good. I like it. Oh, no need to stake anymore. There need to be better use cases than staking for yield. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a compelling statement for sure. And of course, Dipcatcher's working on FlexNet and where there's gas token, HEX for gas token, all that stuff too. Will people create more use cases for HEX than yield? So staking becomes, does staking become kind of like an optional, yeah, I don't know. I could see a future where, HEX, I don't know. I don't know if I can. Can I see a future where HEX staking is kind of like a not a rare feature, but something that's just kind of, I almost feel like I'm getting this vibe of like sitting down, you're selling institutional product to people. You get a financial advisor out there. We've got a HEX ETF. Get a financial advisor sitting down with clients and like, okay, well, we can put HEX in your portfolio, and it's you can see the price performance. It shows them like a 10,000x chart. That'd be pretty fun. And then they're like, oh, also we can optionally, you could stake the HEX for up to 15 years at a time and earn, however much percent, estimated percentage from it. But you can't get access to that until, at least 7.5 years or up to 15 years locked in product. I don't know, I almost feel like good problem to have that HEX turns into like a popular financial product in traditional markets almost. But I don't know. Will it turn into that? Will it turn into, once we do if and when we do another major run and HEX just soars, and maybe we have even more products built on it, and there's even more demand, and retail finally gets it, and we get the self-sustaining ecosystem parallel to the financial universe, like all this stuff. Is HEX just always going to have this type of volatility? Like, is it literally, the greatest performing, they got the greatest hits, the best performing asset in the history of mankind? Volatility is price to pay for the best appreciating asset in mankind. Is HEX just meant to be a very volatile asset that rewards both delayed gratification, long-term stakers, all that stuff, and, or at least, more in the past? In the future, we'll see how it changes, how the APY changes in the future. I mean, over the years, the ladder is going to come off, right? Like, what happens? You're going to restake or not? All that. There's all this stuff too. And is it meant for both? Is it meant to reward both delayed gratification, long-term staking, all that stuff, and buying bottoms, selling tops, or just buying low and selling high type deal? Maybe it's both. I don't know. Maybe both. What's up, extra PulseX? Good to see you, man. Q&A later on. That is true. That's happening right now. Get them in. Get some questions in. Probably going to go for another, make it for up to 30 minutes. We'll see. I like standing here for 30 minutes. Got my favorite tech shirt on, by the way. Made this shirt. I like this shirt. Hex.com. Not trying to be a thousandaire. Not trying to be a thousandaire. I like this shirt a lot. Good day, Hexans. Every extra hex matters. Yeah, Dominic, if you have some questions, feel free. I know you posted that before. So hopefully you're still around if you get the questions in. Some people say, I think it was Coffee I heard before say, and probably maybe other people too, but if you you could treat every hex like $1. You're going to sell a fraction of a penny for $1? I might not. I might not do that personally. Not financial advice, but I don't. If I count my HEX as dollars, I'm less likely to sell them for pennies or sub pennies. Whoever's buying out there, whoever's buying HEX right now and have been buying, have been stacking, have been DCAing, have been putting in the work, have been patient, have been delaying, I hope you have the maddest of gains. Archie did a 555 recently. I hope the 15 years get heavily rewarded. Hopefully HEX in another, well, I guess 15 years. If you did 15-year stakes from inception, you got 10 more to go or so. But now 15 years, HEX in 2040. Hopefully, big price, huge price. Hopefully, very big price. Big, beautiful price. Today's best t-shirt rate ever get. HEX Toshi. Nailed it. B, if you stake, a lot of people, stake, I don't know. When I think about it, staking versus liquid ladders, that kind of, to me, that makes the most sense, I think, is part liquid, part ladder. Yeah. Is that it? Does anyone disagree with that? Part liquid, part ladder? Is that, I feel like that's the most reasonable strategy. Part liquid, part ladder. And you can decide the ratio. That's what I think. What's up, Joe Benito? How's it going? Rockets up. DJ and Hexagon 5555. $1 HEX. I like it. $1, $2, $4, $37. Just a reminder, PulseX, unless PulseX makes a lower all-time low, I did the calculation a while back. 9 cents. 9 cents to do 10,000x for PulseX. FYI, anyone out there like PulseX? Lamont Blancard teaches HEX staking part of it. That's cool. Yeah, I haven't heard anyone give me a link. At me on X, at RHMaximalist on X, and send me, or tell me even on here, if I see it too, what to search for. Should I just search for it real quick? Lamont Black HEX course. You got lamontblack.com courses. Blockchain versus, so it's maybe part of this one. Could be mining and staking. Wow, we literally have mining and staking. I mean, not that that's based on HEX, but let's see. Did you talk about HEX? I mean, it could just be like part of, he could talk about it in his, in his class and not mention it here. You know what? I'm going to GPT, you're going to fail me on this one. It's not very good at reading web pages. Read this web page and tell me if it talks about HEX page and all module links. Probably going to fail. That's why I like Manus for like doing agent stuff. I really don't like the response 1 and 2 either, but whatever. GPT, I think, is good for just like simple stuff, quick stuff. But yeah, Manus.io, drop in the chat. My favorite AI awesome platform. See, now it's going to be like Lamont Black HEX. Of course, he talked about HEX. I want to know if his course talks about it. With Manus too, you can interrupt it and be like, hey, make sure it's only his court. See, I can't interrupt this. I have to go back and literally redo it. Annoying. It might figure it out though. Fin 798. But if you made a Fin 555 class, if that's what it was, then it might be. Transfer, no. Yeah, I didn't see it in the mining and staking, but that doesn't mean in his course itself. He doesn't talk about it. So could still be. All right. Aolon, man, I ain't staking shit. Could made millions dollars at the top, but I'm staked. LOL, so no thanks. I'm staying liquid with the bag I have and accumulate. Let the stakes just mature since here a long time. Yeah, I mean, that happened to, I'm sure, plenty of people where you looked at your paper gains, you looked at your stakes, and wow, these are worth a lot of money at the top, and then it goes down. There's nothing you can do, but you can't, again, the penalties you pay could not be worth merging and staking. So you just got to be like, well, I chose to stake it. So I don't know. I feel like didn't everyone who staked go through that? And I'm not saying it doesn't suck, but I'm just saying, it's, that's when I go back to, if there is a lesson to be learned, I don't think the lesson from this bear market has been to trade and always be liquid. That's not the lesson I take away. If there's any lesson to take away, I think the lesson for me, for example, in general, the most reasonable approach, I think, for HEX is part liquid, part ladder. You give yourself max flexibility while still staking and earning and, not having to rely on not selling at least, whatever percentage early, all that stuff. So yeah, it sucks. I mean, it sucks to be like, oh, it was worth millions and now it's liquid and it's not worth millions, but I don't know. Hopefully it goes back up, and hopefully you have, hopefully everyone who came away with a similar situation, isn't like I hope they, keep HEX or stake it or otherwise make again, make some mad gains from it. But yeah, it happens. That's part of it. That's part of it. I'm glad it sounds like you're still positive on it and still accumulating and all that stuff too, but you're staying liquid. I mean, that's, again, I don't blame people for staying liquid. I just, I don't know. I just think, to me, I think part liquid, part ladder. That's probably the way I'm going to think about it. So you have mass gains, and hopefully so. Hopefully this cycle. I say next cycle. Hopefully this cycle. Is this cycle still going? Yeah, I hope so. Richard, comments make me hyped. Dude, I did so many streams about his hyped posts. A lot of cool stuff in there. Very excited. Only got a few more weeks until his guess of 2 more months is up for marketing thing that maybe somebody in the community is going to kick off. Should be fun. NJ Dub, make a stake for 5555 days, make a stake for 1460, hold the rest liquid to sell, call it a day. There you go. Part liquid, part ladder in a way. Couple pieces there. Could be not a terrible strategy there. I still have some liquid serpentine shares. There you go, Archie. Everyone's got their own flavor. Everyone's got their own way of like, I like HEX because of this and all that stuff. Sorry, I can't get to all the comments. Just scrolling for a minute. I like the idea of paving future. Yeah, that's I always used to talk about that. I mean, I love Hedron. I love the HSIs and all this stuff. But I always try to talk about the downsides of having it portable, because if it's portable, you can, you can send it somewhere else to another wallet, and there's advantages and stuff on that. But at the same time, you can get rid of it. And I like the one things I like about HEX is once I commit to staking it, then I got to see it through, or I got to take the penalties if I in-stake. So like there's certain things I like to give myself options, certain things I don't. And everyone kind of, gets to make their own choice there. Some people, it's easier for them to hold because of their financial situations. It's harder for them to hold because of that. Personalities plays into it, your, life priorities. There's all these things. So HEX is a product where everyone can kind of figure it out. And again, hopefully it's much easier to see the cool stuff about HEX when everybody's having fun making money again, all that stuff. I'm at 9.2 years average stake and still have monthly stakes coming out. Oh, wow. That's awesome. 9.2 years average. It also has a very long average stakes. If you go to hexscout.com, click on portfolio, go to the Godwell. I mean, not 9.2 years. We got people for, this one, this is 14.1 year average, one wallet. I'm sure it may have some, Godwell may have multiple wallets and some liquid and, some ladder and all this stuff too. But boy, $3,000 a day, 23K a week, 100K monthly, 1.21 million yearly. Again, 136% APY. Forget 38% APY. HEX stakers, or HEX, what was the thing? HEX miners are averaging. Actually, is there a way to say this? That you could say in the present, there are HEX stakers. There are HEX miners averaging 136% APY. Pretty amazing. I think I'm going to put that in a tweet too. It turned a pretty fun stream. Imagine that, talking about the HEX coin turns into a fun stream. I hope more people talk about the HEX coin. It's pretty good. I like it. There you go. Pretty cool. When are we going to see another God candle? Don't know. Be cool. Stake it till you make it. That is one of the round calls of the. I don't hear it too much these days, but yeah, it is refreshing to hear it once in a while. It's like I stake till you make it. I'm like, I want APR. I want APY to go up, but again, that's why I go to part liquid, part ladder. PLPL. There you go. I'm popularizing now. Part liquid, part ladder. About 9 years too. Wow, that's amazing. Hopefully you all get super rewarded for this stuff, and I'm excited. I think delayed gratification is super underrated. I think it's only the way that most of the wealth is made in the world over time. But in this cheap dopamine environment, which coin can I buy to make $1 million the next 6 months? How much HEX can I sell for a meme coin that will probably go to zero? I'm saying all meme coins go to zero, but boy, there are plenty that don't perform to what they were hoped to perform at. But all these coins outperformed HEX, and look at the core coins, and they suck because they outperformed. They're getting outperformed by everything else. You get a point in time. I believe there will come a time where the core coins aren't getting outperformed by all the short-term games and all the more risky stuff and all the not true DeFi and all that stuff too. I have a feeling. It's a good chance of that happening. I can't prove it, but I believe. All right, everyone. Wrap it up here in a minute. Hardcore HEX for life. We need the community to start believing in the HEX token again. To start, even though it's hard, Ian, whether the price is up or down, I don't care. I want to do stuff to make this place better. I want this place to moon. How do we get to moon? Do we get to moon by sitting around doing nothing? What Richard does? Literally, I can hear his voice. Oh, me? I don't do anything. I just sit around. I don't do anything. I know it's not easy, but I like this place. All right. Not allow. Would there be any chance the HEX payout goes back to it used to be? If the stakes come off and they don't get restaked, then inflation could go up over time, technically, right? Like the stakes right now, we're sitting at 93% stake. What was this? Actually, let me do this real quick too. Wayback Machine. Let's take a look at what this, if it can tell me. I might have to use another website too if it doesn't get this one. Let's just go back to earlier this year. Hopefully it loads. I was going to do I might have to use another website. Which one? Can HEX Daily Stats tell me percentage charts? I don't know if it's going to do it. Let me see. I'm trying to get a historical view of these. So, for example, this one, will it tell me? Some of these won't load very well depending on, I don't know, probably just the way the websites are set up. Yeah. Let's try this one. Let's see if I can give you what it used to be. It's not. Okay. Let's try HEX Daily Stats on April 20th. Was that? Let's see. 2020. Let's just go back to way back. Oh, that one doesn't work either. What do we got? Which one could tell me? HEX doesn't work. HEX mining calculator. Well, HEX calc. Let's see. Does it tell me the share rate? I don't think it tells me it either. one about hexstats.com. Staked hex, circulating hex. T-shirt price. We could try hexstats.com. If we go back to December 24th, see some of these, if they're pulling data from somewhere else, it might not render because they're pulling. I don't know. I just assume that maybe they're pulling dynamic data. Oh, never mind. Okay. I was going to look at some of that too, but we'll go back to what it used to be. Yeah, if it drops off, I mean, if we see, what was it before? Man, I feel like I had a tweet on this too. Was it, how much was staked before? Anyone in the chat know? Was it like, I want to say 70%? 60, 70% was staked? Or did it, I don't know. I feel like I'm just, let me do some research real quick. I can just search. Give me a second. I'll be right back. All right. Scrolling here. You know what? I might stay down here a little longer. We'll see. Get your good questions in. Who knows? We might go an hour, have 2 hours. I like the Hex token. Hex.com, baby. Hex.com. Let's go. Wake up, everyone. Because sometimes it takes some time to do some research. So let's see. Oh, it was more. Yeah, that's right. Actually, yes. The last 3 or 4 months, it's coming back to me now. Yeah, it was more like 10%. That's right. I remember. Oh, Hex Daily Stats has it. Thank you, Dominic. And I knew there's probably like some site that, let's see. Yeah, where is it? At the bottom of Hex Daily Stats. I don't see anything at the bottom. If I collapse charts, data files, links, a lot of great links here. All right, just a second. I myself did a 95%. Yeah, it was around 10% now. Yeah, it's coming back to me. It's been, I couldn't remember. There we go. Okay, I found one. Shout out to Jebediah Dean. I just want to get a screenshot from their So this one. That's it. Yeah. So not, yeah, or almost 10%. Wow. So it just, wow. So we had an 85%, 80 to 85% increase. That's right. Yeah. I don't know why I said 60, 70%. When I see this now, I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally what it was. It makes sense. So used to be that. I don't have the ladder in front of me. Anyone let me know if they have a link to actually the details for the ladder. Has anyone did any calculations actually? That'd be pretty cool. If anyone hasn't did it, the calculation of what the percentage, if everything stayed the same, relatively speaking, what the calculation would be as the ladder drops off if it wasn't restaked, how much percentage or what the payout would be. That's kind of what I think it's probably what you'd be interested in. As far as, I mean, to answer the question, would chance payout go back it used to be? It may take a long time to go back where it used to be, but where would it go to? Could we see it doubling, or could we see it go up by, I don't know, could we see it go up by 25% every time a stake ends that isn't restaked? Maybe something like that. So could be. Yeah, payout will rise slowly over time. Oh, it could jump to interest rate by instance thing as well as right. That it's all about what's right for the time. Yeah, I don't think that is a theory that the 08 could merge and stake, reward the stakers, all that stuff too. But as me and Dipcatcher talked about before too, I think all the biggest point to be made there is like, why would they do that though? Because if the point was to reduce inflation, that would just, that would not be like, why would you change it? Like, if you want to reduce inflation, why not just let everything just play out over the years with this lower inflation? Certainly if the price goes up to make up for the yield, what if we do 100,000x and then the price just kind of goes in step down with how much yield you get? What if it's a yin and yang? What if we're just rubber banding? We're just waiting for the point. And then, where is it? I can't see it anymore. Price went out of sight. And over time it stabilizes, or maybe it's always volatile. I feel like I'm getting into the philosophical pieces too. Like, maybe it's always supposed to be volatile. And then just over time, there's season for staking and there's a season for price go up and cycles and all this stuff too. Anyways. Sorry, can you get to all these? Scrolling. Hello, Tam Tam. How's it going? So all the wallet sold PLS for PLS Bridge, PLS to ETH now is WPLS. What do you think as far as doing the exchange? I don't know. Send me a link at RHMax list. I don't off the top of my head, I don't know of what's going on there, if anything. So as far as wallet selling stuff or bridging or all that, I don't remember seeing that much about it, if I remember. So yeah, send me a link to some data on it if you can at RHMax Plus. The way I look at staking is, once I've done it, I forget about it, so I'm not disappointed in the future. Full ladder setup. Yeah, sounds reasonable. Definitely thought that's literally what's on your mind if you're true hexing. It was all about timing your hex stakes for me. Yeah, chart a future market supply. Keeping my hex on Ethereum liquid, all my hex on PulseChain, and keeping the ladder. Not a bad strategy. I mean, it sounds like you just want to take advantage of, or be able to take advantage of, if we get huge rises in HEX but you're long term on PX. Again, to each their own. Like there's probably a subgroup. If you were to poll people what they're doing as far as that's actually a pretty good poll. What are you doing on EX and PX and stuff? Are you staking more on one or the other and all this stuff too? And we can see on the chart, we have the data. You know, I'm sure Ben and Crispy have data and stuff on that too. But it's interesting to see how people are thinking about it. Godwell is literally unaffected by HEX's 9% dropout. So 2 points on that. Interesting comment. So I think unaffected in the sense that, you know, got a ton of T shares, a ton of APY. I'm going to speculate that Godwell isn't looking at the charts every day. He probably doesn't care what the HEX price is on a regular basis. He probably hopes it goes higher. Who knows? I hope he's looking for like, all right, you know, once the marketing thing kicks off, or once RH comes back, or once macro looks good, or whatever other different kinds of catalyst events and stuff that could trigger a bull run, then maybe he wants to paint some more green candles. Maybe he's got some fresh capital to put in. Maybe he likes HEX. Maybe he's you know, wants to do some cool stuff. So that, like, unaffected probably by, like, you know, just doesn't kind of care what's going on from the day-to-day type stuff. And where he's staked for so long and so much, you know, even though, you know, the payouts went down, he's already made so much over time that, you know, when you have that much, you know, when you got how many HEX? 10 billion HEX? Is that B with a billion? That's the liquid plus staked plus accrued. Wow. That's just that's a Godwell portfolio, at least one of them. Pretty amazing. All right. Sorry, gotta scroll. Gonna wrap up here in a few minutes. Probably like 5 minutes. I'm take a walk or something. John Smith, can I ask for the community, give us all a clear answer that HEX is a product we can buy with full confidence? I mean, I think the ones that, if you're not fudding your bags, is there particular examples of not having full confidence? I'm sure people were kind of like, maybe they're not bull posting as much about HEX anymore. I don't know. What would have someone need to say that would not be full confidence HEX? Are they like, I'm not sure about HEX anymore? I don't know. I can give you my answer, in my opinion, that I'm pretty confident in HEX, pretty confident in this ecosystem. So I don't know. I think, yeah, careful who you listen to, I guess. DYOR. But honestly, it's, you know, I try to bring a optimistic, first principles, rational view of things. And of course, you know, I have an emotional, you know, flavor to this too, because I like this place. I like Richard. I like all this stuff too. I like the HEX token. So I don't know, like when you're doing research, there's people, I try to also, I don't monetize. I don't have a Telegram group. I'm trying to funnel you into some other product or, you know, all that stuff too. So I'm not saying you should listen to me because I don't give advice. I try very, very hard not to give advice of any sort. But yeah, hopefully you get something from listening to people who are objectively or at least positively representing HEX and all that good stuff. All right. When can we expect 7 HEX per t-shirt again? In a few years, I guess. Well, like I said, when the OA stakes come off, unless we have some other major staking, what if everyone just starts staking? So yeah, the good old days, 7 payout. I don't know. Maybe after the ladder winds down, and if it doesn't get restaked, but what if HEX is such a massive success that you have just a ton of people staking? Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's, I don't know. What is the worst after 10 years? What do you expect the payout to be? I'm just number off the top of my head is 5. Let's go with 5. Like, I don't know. Let's say HEX does well, remains relevant. OA doesn't restake after 10 years. I'm just guessing. If I looked at this chart, it showed 5. Why not? 5's not bad, right? You could say 6, 7, 8, 9 was pretty high. Some of these payouts, woo. Yeah. But who knows? Who knows? So if it settled at 5.55, it could be a thing. HEX for the win. DCA, parity DCA. Everyone's got their own strategy. But again, should you stake? Should you not stake? Hopefully you got somewhere around the information that's good data for you to make some choices out there that make your life good and better and filled with happiness and mad gains. But that's all I got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.